Hi, this is Rick. I'm here in my studio, and you're visiting my YouTube channel, Rick Surowicz Watercolor. Once again this year, I decided to put together a series of holiday card videos that you can share with your friends and family. I post all the content on the project page of my website. If you go there, you'll find the links for the videos, links for the templates that I use for the cards, and reference photos of the cards themselves. And they're all 5 by 7 inches. And you can put those on a blank greeting card stock or just on regular watercolor paper, whatever you choose. But I hope you enjoy watching this series and enjoy painting them and sharing with your friends and family. This is Rick. I'm in my studio and I'm ready to begin this holiday painting. This is a mini holiday painting. Like all my holiday paintings, this is 5 by 7 inches. And this is the template that you're looking at. So a very simple template. With some trees and a waterfall and then some distant edge of the tree lines there. So that's the template, and I'm going to do a little masking on this. I do this a lot in these little holiday cards, the little snowy scenes. So I'm going to take a fine line masking bottle, a fine line tip, and I'm just going to make just some ripples in this waterfall. Just taking going to highlight some of the ripples. So when after I put the wash on and take the masking off, you'll see these white ripples showing through. So I try and follow a pattern that the flow of the water is going to be, and it's going to spread out here and spread out here. So just making some marks, not getting too crazy with it. Don't need a whole lot, and that's all I'm going to do with the fine line masking bottle. And next, I'm going to splatter some masking fluid on here to represent the snow. So this is a snowy scene. So I'm going to dip this in a jar of masking fluid that I have here. I'm going to rub off some of the extra. And then I'm just going to splatter it with a toothbrush. And sometimes I'll pull the bristles back. Sometimes I'll tap it against my hand to get some larger drops, and sometimes you'll get some drops that are too big, and if you do, all you have to do is wait till they're dry and take off the ones that you don't want before you paint. So I want this to be a pretty snowy day. I've got some trees here, and I'd like to make sure I get some of that masking fluid on the trees. A couple drops, and that's probably enough. So now all I have to do is let that dry, and then I'll be ready to paint. This is Rick in the studio, and the masking fluid that I put on here is dry. We're going to get ready to paint. So I'm going to be using some royal blue, which is a color I like a lot, and some sap green. We'll mix those together to give me a blue-green tone. That's actually probably a little too much green, so I'm just going to add more of the blue to it. And then I don't want it quite that bright, so I'm going to gray it down a little bit by taking some alizarin crimson. And that will gray my color down a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is add some water. And I'm going to put a light wash on this, kind of the sky. And I'm going to bring it down, painting over these tree shapes. And just bring it down to this kind of slope, the horizon line, but it's at a slope. We're on a hill here. And now I want to pick up some of the moisture around the edge. Get that. Pick up some of the extra moisture in here that I'm working at an angle on this, so about a 20-degree angle. So gravity's pulling that down a little bit. And now what I want to do is really have a lot of water in that. Now I'm going to take, this is a 6 round brush. I'm going to take the same colors over here where I don't have as much water. So the royal blue, a little sap green, and some alizarin, And now I don't have quite as much moisture in there, and it's a smaller brush. And what I want to do is I want to paint some an indication of some distant trees here, distant tree line, some pines or whatever. I'm going to bring that down, working wet and wet. All right, space those out a little bit. I'm going to make this tree a little more, give it a little more definition. And a second one here. So I want these to be just kind of in the mist. They're a little far away. I have some snow blowing between us. And that's probably enough. I'll make a few marks on the ground. All right, so that's probably enough. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dry that, and then I'm going to start painting these larger trees that are closer to us. All right, I've given that a quick dry. And actually, before I paint these tree shapes, I could have done this before I dried that. But I'm going to take a little of this wash and just create a little bit of a middle value or a light value of this wash going down to show the snowy edge, but just put some shadow, a little depth into that. We'll just follow it like this. And I'll bring it down alongside this little waterfall. We'll just bring some more of this light value in initially. Okay. So there's my slope coming down. Here's just a light value. I'm going to put a light value in this, but I'm going to bring in some darker colors. Well, we might as well just go ahead and do that. We'll just put a little of this wash in here. Kind of follow the pattern that I put in with the masking fluid a little bit. And I'm going to take a little of this royal blue, just a little stronger blue. Put some of that in here for my water. Get a little more of that. So there's my waterfall. And I think we'll dry things. That's dry. I'm going to go back to my 6 round brush. I'm going to get a little darker mixture here. I'm going to add some green to this. Okay, now I'm going to start to just paint the suggestion of a pine tree here, an evergreen. A bit stylized for the holiday painting. And I'm going to take my bigger brush, my wash brush, just bring a touch of a darker value down. I'll take some water. I like the shape I had there. Now we're going to do a similar, take a similar approach over here with these trees. Like I said, these are kind of stylized a little bit for the make them feel like a holiday tree. We got a smaller one here. I might have to touch this up a little bit because I've got a big droplet of masking fluid maybe in a spot that kind of takes away from the edge. I'll see how that turns out. A little bit of some darker values here. It came in here a little bit of a backwash because the paper had started to dry. I'm going to take a darker value, this blue-green mixture, and we'll put some of that in here. And I'll take a darker mixture, just touch a little of that darker value in here. Might come back when that's a little drier to find that edge a little. Okay, so once again, I want to dry things here. Okay, so now I'll take the masking fluid off. Now I look for any marks that I might not care for where the masking fluid was. And this one here, I want to define this a little better. Had a drop that kind of took away from the shape. Soften that. Take just a few darker marks here. A little darker value. And that's probably enough. So there we go, another mini holiday painting, just a little snow scene with a waterfall and just a couple trees and some distant trees here, kind of shadowed in the distance. So I hope you enjoy this. Have fun painting it.